This guest brought to the show two pairs of enamel vases made in Vienna in the 1880s. They belonged to his father's aunt. The enamel vases are made of copper and are decorated on all sides, with backs featuring panels in the Rococo or 18th century style. Each side features beautifully decorated dragons painted with a translucent style, resembling jewels. The appraisal values the items between $20,000 to $30,000.
Wow, that's a lot more than I expected.
This miniature chest of drawers has passed through many generations in the guest's husband's family. It's a Queen Anne maple chest, likely made in Massachusetts, dating back to 1750. This is a small slant front desk, possibly made for children or as a sample for salesmen. The overall proportion is of high quality. The brasses are original. It's demanding in the antique business because it's unique and charming. It was made around the 1750s. The lovely surface's impressions indicate heavy use and rich history. As an early American rare furniture piece, the appraiser estimated its value as...
I would appraise it for insurance purposes now in the $15,000 to $20,000 range.
Will be passed down in our family and never leave.
That's great.
This guest brought an Omega watch to the show. The watch was initially awarded to the guest's grandfather, A.B. Jenkins, before being passed down to him. A.B. Jenkins was a professional race car driver and the 24th mayor of Salt Lake City, Utah between 1940 and 1944. This watch is a chronograph timepiece manufactured by the Omega Watch Company in the 1950s. Omega Watch Company awarded the watch to A.B. Jenkins for his exploit. The watch was made of stainless steel with an engraving A.B. Jenkins, champion of the champion, holder of more world records than any person in history. The engraving and the history surrounding this watch made it a sought-after piece for collectors. The appraisal values the items to cost about $15,000 to $20,000.
Oh. All right, if you say so.
The guest came with the Louis XV commode. It's an old family piece, and he got it from his great-grandfather. A piece of French 18th century furniture. It is a classic Rococo form with these cabriolet legs and the sort of curved outline, as well as the marquetry inlay. It has the original marble top with a rough-cut back edge. Frizzell is the maker of this furniture. See, there was some veneer loss, and what restorers did is they infill it. Appraised for $20,000.
I got you.
The guest came with the Illuminated Manuscript Book of Hours. She got it from her mother-in-law. Medieval manuscripts have been collected for hundreds of years. It was very high-end work, that is real gold. This is a Morocco leather binding. Usually they're red. It has illuminations and miniature paintings inside. All the text is written by a scribe in a scriptorium. This manuscript is from the 1470s, probably likely French. Appraised for $40,000 to $60,000.
Oh, thank you so much.
The guest came with a Hawaiian flag quilt. It was made for her mother's half-brother around 1915 and 1916. It is the coat of arms of King Kamehameha, who was the king, and this is the royal crown here. These are the royal ceremonial staffs. The ancient outrigger's flag and has the crossed spears here.
The influence of the British flag and then the stripes for the various islands that made up the Hawaiian Islands.
The influence of the British flag would be from 1900 to 1920, which fits in perfectly. A dealer offered her dad about $5,000, but he refused. In an antique shop today, appraised for $25,000.
Okay.
The guests brought to the show over 25 original pen and ink drawings and sketchbooks, which she inherited from her mother. The drawings and sketchbooks were initially created by her great-great-grandfather, Jasper Francis Crosby, 1865 after the Civil War. Jasper Francis Crosby was an American architect and artist. He was best known for the Hudson River School landscape painting. The appraisal values for the collection are estimated to be $20,000 to $30,000.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yes.
The sentimental value, it's special, but it's nice that they're worth money value, too.
The guest came with the Louis Comfort Tiffany Seascape oil. He got it from his grandmother. Grandmother bought it in the 1960s from a friend. It is a painting by Tiffany. The appraiser confirms that it's a painting by Tiffany. Tiffany was born in 1848 in New York. He died in 1933.
He studied with Samuel Coleman and George Inness, two American landscape painters. And in addition to his work in the decorative arts, he traveled throughout the world painting.
He painted in a realistic style. The painting itself appears to be in very good shape. There's a little bit of croqueur, which is something that's an inherent vice to an old painting. The appraiser suggested painting could benefit from a cleaning. Appraised for $15,000 to $25,000, significantly more than the original price of $250,000.
My deer in the headlight moment.
This guest brought an English presentation sword that her deceased husband inherited from his great uncle, which he likely acquired during his extended stay in Europe in the early 1910s. The sword was made in Birmingham, England, by a company named Woolley Dutton, Deacon and Johnson, a well-known maker of swords in the early 19th century. It was presented in 1805 to Commandant John Henry Taylor, Esquire, by the loyal Crayford volunteers in testimony of their high sense of his attention to the discipline and respectability of the Corps. The sword is engraved in gilt brass and has a blued blade, with a cipher of King George III. The appraisal of the object values it up to $20,000 to $30,000 at auction.
Gee.
Here we have a guest with a fascinating piece of history, the German Iron Cross from a World War I airplane. It's a powerful symbol of that era. The guest inherited this from his great-grandfather, who served in World War I. This Iron Cross is exciting because of the camouflage pattern on the back. That's called Losange Camo, a typical German design used on aircraft in the later stages of World War I. How much is this bell valued?
Retail price for this in the neighborhood of $6,000 to $7,000.
Wow, that's amazing.
The guest shared a family heirloom of paintings inherited from his father and had them for almost 20 years. The paintings were made by the renowned artist Howard Carter. The appraiser highlighted Carter's early career as an archaeologist and Egyptologist. He was famous for his discovery of King Tut's tomb in 1922.
Howard Carter was the archaeologist on site at the founding of the King Tut tomb, the Tutankhamun tomb.
These pieces represent Carter's artistic talent in recreating images from tomb walls that he saw during the discovery. His artwork was quite famous and very popular among collectors. How much would each piece be worth?
I would value them at between $6,000 and $8,000 a piece.
A piece?
A piece.
Oh my heavens! I think my cousins will ask for them back.
The guest came with the Mickey Mantle archive. She made a collection of Mickey Mantle memorabilia. This was a Zippo lighter that Mr. Youngman gave out. Have a Mickey Mantle signature here on the sweet spot on baseball. 10 copies of his card that were all hand-signed by Mickey.
And we just decided to frame one of them to put up on the wall, but we have some other copies as well.
Very early image of Mantle and is signed Best Wishes, Mickey Mantle. Mickey was known to get a lot of use out of his hats. Zippo lighter appraised between $100 and $200, baseball between $300 and $500, the photo between $500 and $1,000, and hats between $8,000 and $10,000.
I'm shocked, truly shocked. That's amazing.
The guest came with a mid-17th century German gilt medal and Jasper cup. He got it from his grandfather. It's a very nice example of a German decorative object. Looks kind of like a cup, but it didn't have a function. The material is what we've just going to call gilt metal. And the stone is jasper. From top to bottom, we have a rim here that's chased with floral and foliette decoration.
But in Northern Europe, it lasted into the 17th century. And this Mannerist style does precede the Baroque style of art in European decorative arts.
At auction, appraised between $7,000 and $10,000. The guest brought French Joanne doll to the show. She inherited from her mother. The French Bru Joanne doll was made by the Bru Company, founded by Pierre-François Gemou. These dolls represent elegance and refinement in French doll making. They serve as collectibles and display pieces. Bru Joanne dolls have lifelike details, bisque heads, glass eyes, and wear elaborate costumes. Highly sought after by collectors, they showcase peak craftsmanship of their era. The appraiser valued it to be
The doll is very, very desirable today.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And in a retail setting, it would sell between $28,000 and $38,000.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Let's take a ride through the dark passages of the Beckley Exhibition coal mines to catch glimpses of precious diamonds. Our appraiser, Kevin Zavion, said you can't crush coal to make diamonds like Superman. The other myth he addresses is that diamonds are not rare, but finding precious diamonds is indeed rare. This is a platinum ring with a 7.5 carat emerald cut diamond. Diamonds were only a sign of status and nobility until the 1930s, when De Beers created a marketing plan to sell diamonds as a sign of love and commitment. The ring was handmade between 1940 and 1950, has 18 small diamonds around it.
A value for a ring like this at auction would be $3,000 to $4,000. And a stone like this today at auction could be $150,000 to $200,000.
Now we know the truth about diamonds. Thanks.
Well, thanks for having me.
The guest came with the Carduchious Plantagenet Rim Oil. He and his wife purchased it at an estate sale in Cota de Casa, a nicer area, for $14. This gorgeous painting, which I'm crossing my fingers that it's worth a little more than $14. Guest guesses its artist is Riem. The appraiser confirms it's by Carduchious Plantagenet Riem.
It's very faintly visible. Riem was born in Lancaster, Ohio in 1837.
He was known for painting fruit primarily. Very dramatic. I love the fuzz on the peaches. A lot of chiaroscuro here with the peaches coming out of the dark background. Painting like this could easily see a $10,000 to $15,000 price tag.
Wow.
Swords have always been a part of history. This sword has a very great significance. This old sword from the Civil War time was brought in. It belonged to the brother of the owner's grandpa. His name was John Robert Selfridge, and he was a lieutenant in a group of soldiers from Georgia. The sword was made by a company called Boyle and Gamble in Virginia. The sword possesses his distinctive style of the pommel cap. Additionally, you can distinguish it by the single strand of wire on the grip, contrasting with federal swords that typically feature a double strand or braided wire design. This sword was used in important battles like Second Bull Run and Antietam. John got hurt in a battle called Fredericksburg. Even though the sword looks old, it's worth $5,000. The owner also had a picture of John in his soldier clothes. It's a special picture and worth $3,000. Together, the sword and picture are worth $8,000. If the owner can find more proof that the sword belonged to John, it could be worth even more.
Wow. Okay, I'll go look for the letter.
At first glance, you might just see a bunch of old paintings. But if you take a closer look, you'll find something special. A big collection of posters and handbills from Bill Graham's concerts. These were put together by someone who really loves this stuff. They're especially into handbills, those small pieces of paper with cool designs. One of the rare ones in the collection is called the copy handbill, super hard to find. The appraiser highlights that the Jefferson airplane piece is number 1 in the series, while the guest confirms its significance as the first artwork in the series. Recognized as a pinnacle of the psychedelic San Francisco movement, the artwork created by Wes Wilson embodies the essence of the era. When discussing this movement, one invariably refers to Bill Graham posters. Even though nobody has officially said how much it's worth, experts think it could sell for around $28,000 to $30,000 at an auction.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Well, that's what comes from really paying attention to the details of a collection.
The guest inherited this American Indian burl wood bowl and 2 ladles. Its bottom has accurate information, including manufacturing year 1830. It's from the knot of the butternut tree, and it doesn't crack out. The little bumps on the end are called effigies, usually curved like people's heads or animals. This bowl has plain effigies. The little mush paddle and spoon are hard to find nowadays. Being original and old, rare tribal wooden art, value of bowl at an auction.
If it came up at an auction, I would think it would easily make between $12,000 and $15,000.
Wow.
The ladles, $200, maybe $250 each.
This guest brought a bass guitar to show. The guest's father bought the bass in Hong Kong during his R&R leave from Vietnam. It's a 1968 Fender Jazz bass, originally made in California. This model was introduced in 1960. It's known for its trebly brighter sound and faster action. The Jazz bass was designed to provide a brighter, faster-playing alternative to the original Fender Precision bass of 1951. It's remained a popular model ever since. This particular model is in the standard sunburst finish and is in very good plus condition with all original parts. How much is the bell valued?
In today's market, at retail, this guitar would sell for between $4,500 and $5,000.
My goodness, he will be thrilled.
Oh, great.